So, buddy,
Hello.
guess I'm the fastest one today.
Ilya, how did you get in? Because they don't know how to get in to this. So like, how did you join? Because some people are just watching.
I just clicked on the link you gave me. My email received a link from you, and I just clicked on it. That's it. I see. I see. Panayotis is here, so I mean, obviously, people are slowly making it in.
Yeah, I clicked from the email invite. So I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, so I guess this will be better now. So, hello.
What up?
Yeah.
Yeah, just waiting for some other people to join. I think that we haven't used this before, and I don't really use this a lot, so I'm not exactly clear on how to get people to join. But I think Jess maybe didn't get the email, so I'm gonna try to see if I can invite her again.
I think she got it because she was the one who said that you sent the email. But how is this? How is this room any different than the previous one?
So the difference here is that people who, like, if we go over 10 people, then the 11th person can still watch, even though they might not be able to talk. So I figured it's better.
Okay.
And, that could be me, for example. I could just drop out, and then whoever wanted to come in and talk could join. I don't know if there is a restriction on how many people can join this, though. But at least someone can still view. If they come late, they can't join. So I think that Tima is going to be showing us a biz dev thing. I don't think everybody has to interact.
Yeah, I just found the YouTube link for this one.
Okay, I'm doing some more invites. Also, it looks like we can chat right in here, which is cool.
I was gonna say, now that Sean is not here, it's so much quieter. Nobody wants to say anything.
I actually used Hangouts on Air before, and I liked it. I mean, it does have its limitations, but hopefully it doesn't limit the amount of people, but at least they can still watch if they can't get in. Hey, what's up, Tima?
Hey. All right.
Invite Spider Gears. Tom's talking to us on Slack here. Sean, I invited you if you can hear me. I invited you to with that new deals app SEO Gmail. All right, I'm going to invite Sean for the third time. Third time's a charm.
To be fair, the one you sent me earlier came in at the same time the second one did, so it might just be a bit of a delay.
Kima, I can see your screen pretty clearly too.
Okay, great.
Yeah, me too.
I guess the only downside to this is that it's totally public, so anybody can watch, but I'm not really worried about
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, there is room for one more. Oh, here it is.
this.
There you go.
I got it. It went to spam. It went to spam. All right, cool. This is definitely better.
I guess the only downside to this is that it's totally public, so anybody can
Okay.
watch.
Mute your mics. Alright, except for Kurt. Alright, awesome. So I'm gonna jump right in if everyone is ready. So what we are going to do here is basically explore what we are trying to accomplish with the Meriscope business model. And just follow me on the screen, and I'll be asking Kurt a number of questions and try to fill this out to the best of my abilities. And then if anyone wants to slow down or have some feedback, feel free to unmute and chime in. So the basic idea behind Lean Canvas is we have all these assumptions about the business and what's going to work or not, and have some, I imagine Kurt has some pretty good ideas of what he sees in the future, but we all want to share the vision. So we want to make sure that everyone is on the same page, and this will kind of help us solidify what problem we are solving, who is the customer segment, what value we are providing for customer segment, and we can do it for each customer segment we target. And then once we do that, we can see if the numbers add up and our revenue model actually makes sense, or if we need to change it at all. Okay, so let's get started with the problem. So first, this is going to be a two-sided business model because we'll be solving a problem for both people who are recording videos and people who need the videos. But let's start with the side of people who need to record the video. And we can, let's see. So what problem are we going to be solving?
Hey, Tima, do you want me to answer, or are we going to let just anybody answer this question?
I want you to answer those, and then if someone has feedback, they can unmute and we can discuss those things. But I want to kind of recreate your vision in the Lean Canvas.
Sure. So I'm not sure which problem is the most important one, but I think one of them is that people who are in these new live streaming services, they don't have any way to make money right now. I mean, that's not entirely true, but to me the main problem is that there's a lot of new live streaming like influencers, and they want to make money from it.
Okay, so we'll call them streamers, and we'll be looking as a problem that people who are streamers want to monetize their streams. Are there any other problems we'll be solving for those streamers?
Problems just for the streamers?
Yes.
I can't think of any right now. I'm sure there
Okay.
are.
And right now, if someone is live streaming, is there any way for them to monetize that at all?
I believe there is. As far as a platform that does it, I don't think so. But you know, some of these guys are just being paid by the streaming sites themselves or by advertisers, but they're being connected in kind of crude or manual ways. As far as I can understand, I mean, maybe YouTube has influencer sites where you can monetize, but I'm not aware of what they are.
Okay, cool. And what would be the value proposition for people who gonna record those streams for money?
That they make.
Like if you are to email the top 10 people who are streaming on Meerkat and want to explain your value to them in like one sentence, is it just gonna be make money from your streams?
Make money and expand your audience. I think it's even deeper than money, though. I think that a lot of these streamers, like if you watch a lot of Meerkat and Periscope streams, I actually do, is a lot of these people, they actually need audiences almost even more than money.
Okay, so this takes us back to the problem. So one of the problems is you want to build audience.
Yeah. So I think that another problem that's related, and I don't know, I've never done this kind of like business canvas before, but is that they also want to know what their customers or their audiences want for content. Like right now, both Periscope and Meerkat are just like, here's what I'm giving you, which is kind of in the old paradigm of TV, but now, and one of the ways I think live TV can innovate, and it hasn't done so yet, and this is something we could probably solve, is that people want certain kinds of content. So we'll be showing them what kind of content the audience wants, which makes the job easier.
All right, it sounds good. That's I think is a good beginning to focus on the initial problems. And so as far as the solution goes, what do you imagine the first MVP is going to be?
Well, this is something that I discussed with Ilya yesterday, and one point that I kind of wanted you guys to weigh in on, because it's a pretty important part, is we want to solve this monetization problem by finding them customers who will pay for their streams. It could be something very formal, like I create a large convention and I want to make sure that people are there filming it so that it's covered. Or it could be I'm just a regular Joe and I just want to watch a stream of my favorite person on Meerkat or Periscope cover a certain topic and I'm willing to spend $5. So,
okay.
Ilya and I yesterday, we talked about maybe it's not so important that we charge people right off the bat. So it's something that right now I could probably go either way on it.
Okay. Well,
So-
we will get to that when we get to the money part of this.
So yesterday, when I was talking to Kurt, we were thinking that possibly the MVP should be a web-based version, which just matches people that demand certain type of stream and people that provide certain type of stream. So kind of like, as Kurt very nicely put it, Fiverr.com. Basically, people saying, I'm willing to stream this, and you can easily find it, and people saying, hey, I need somebody that will go and stream that for me.
Okay.
And again, there will not be any, just for the MVP, nobody will get charged money just because that will save us upfront on development cost and time.
Okay, I'd say generally it's a horrible idea to go to free and then try to switch to paid, but it's something we can definitely explore as a group. So let's finish up this page real quick. Honestly, the solution is like the least of your worries initially. It's something, everything else is what you want to focus on initially. So how do you get to those streamers? I would say it's fairly easy to just message people directly because you already, at least all the big streamers are listed.
Yeah, I think that I mean, channels would be probably like social media. I'm sure a lot of this is something I discussed with Ilya yesterday. The great thing about live streaming is that Periscope and Meerkat, for example, their main channel is Twitter. Like everybody's who does live streaming on Periscope and Twitter, or Periscope and Meerkat, they onboarded all of their first customers on Twitter. So we'd probably just mainly be using Twitter at first, I imagine. But finding customers would be, I guess, a different problem, right?
Yes, but we can get to that when we start going over the consumers. So revenue streams, how much are you envisioning average streamer is going to charge, and what percentage of that are you going to take?
So I don't really know, but I do have some experience in this because I have had a video startup that people paid for video content, and I think it's typically under $20. And I'd probably say the average is going to be, you know, maybe $5 or between $5 and $20. I think would be decent, but it wouldn't be unheard of to find people putting $1 or $2 behind a stream.
So $9 per person.
I think that's too much.
Yeah, I don't really know, but like I'm just thinking of myself. I'd probably be willing to spend $1 here and there.
Okay, so about $1 per person per event, and you can have what, up to 100 people joining for each event, depending on how popular it is.
Yeah, that's something I just honestly don't know. I don't know how many people are gonna join. It could be thousands, man. I mean, yeah.
I sort of see the live streaming though part as a real way to build up the audience, but I also think it's a way to connect, like you're talking about Fiverr, people that already have this content created. Let's say it's a diver that goes somewhere to some ship and somebody's doing research and he'd actually like original content from this ship that's, you know, from a diver, or somebody wants an ugly cat video that's not been out there already to everybody, whatever it might be. It's a way to connect people that want video, and so we allow these people to create these streaming videos, and then they can start selling them live or, you know, from downloadable. So we're just creating a go-between, a connection between the people who want video content, which the whole internet's moving that way, right, and the people who can create it. So, I mean, I think that we platform off the live video, Periscope and Meerkat, absolutely, but I think the opportunity is actually bigger than that.
Yeah, well, there is a problem with actually being a platform for video, because basically,
yeah, I agree, but
offload that to YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm still not saying being a platform for video, but you know, they can host it on their own. We're just being a connection to the two to meet to exchange the video, maybe a portal or a window to just, you know, upload, download, and they can't see the encryption, it's not encrypted or whatever. I'll let you technical people figure that out, but it's just a way for them to actually buy and sell their videos. And, you know, if they want something fresh and new, you know, hey, I want to see what it's like down at the beach today, or the you know, the U.S. Open was just going on in Huntington Beach, and some people might say, hey, I want to see it, you know. And I think like Chris Sacca was talking about after the Pac-Man Pacquiao and Mayweather fight, that they just went up through the roof. Everybody was rebroadcasting that via Periscope. And
I think that the focus should be narrowed a little bit, because I think that if we're going to focus on live streams, I think a lot of the action is going to happen before the stream actually takes place. Just think about it sort of like Kickstarter of videos. Like, you're really getting involved in the Kickstarter before the product is there. Like, I do agree that probably selling pre-recorded video content is cool, but if we're going to focus on live stream, I would just prefer to focus just on that. Only not because it's not valuable, but because it'll just narrow it and make it more simple for us to tackle that one problem.
Yeah, initially you definitely want to focus on, and then you want to evolve by listening to your customers. So because if you're comparing yourself to the video storage, you have a ton of different existing alternatives. So you're basically undermining your value proposition by being another video site that tries to monetize on video. But if you're focusing on live audience, then you have something that other people haven't copied yet.
All right. So what's the next step here?
So let's finish this real quick. What are the costs of developing a site? They're pretty low nowadays.
We're not going to spend any money on this, I don't believe. I think that we can do all of this ourselves, pretty much.
So basically your time, which is the highest cost, and then a little bit of hosting, which are pretty low. And then big one is going to be legal costs if you get in trouble, because like you sometimes will be selling rights to. Basically, it's a gray area right now, but we don't have to worry about that until much later. So key metrics is basically what when your business evolves. First you get sign-ups, then you get a request to record the videos, then basically you get, and then you finally get. So those basically things you can focus on initially when you're building the site, making sure you have some interest, making sure you find people who want something recorded, then that it actually happened and people are happy, and then basically everyone gets paid who needs to get paid.
Yeah, and on that point, I think I would like the way that I'm thinking about it is to focus on one of them, and to me the revenue really stands out. To me, this whole thing works if people are paying, unless it's like pivoted, you know. Like, I think that the concept is simple enough. I'm saying I want to have the stream and I'm willing to pay for it, or somebody's saying they're willing to do the stream maybe if they hit a certain amount. Like, I'm willing to do this if I hit $100. And I'm an influencer, like I'm an investor or something, I'm willing to interview some startup if I hit $100 by this date.
But yeah, basically to get to revenue you have to go through all of these steps anyway. But yeah, basically you want to see the revenue, but it will be a funnel. So for every 100 sign-ups you will get like 50 requests, then out of those 50, 10 will go through, and then whatever goes through you get paid for. So this kind of has to work together, and you won't get revenue without sign-ups, requests, and streams recorded. So this just kind of gives you an idea on different things you can work to get to the revenue.
Right on.
And then now we want to look on the other side and just call it consumers. So for the consumers, what problems there are? Like, why do you need to pay someone to live stream stuff for you?
I think they want to control the content more. I think that that's the problem. They have very low, like, I just passively watch streams when really I want people to do certain specific things. You know, like I'll tell you how this idea actually first came up to me, is that before Meerkat and Periscope came out, I thought it would be really cool to build an app where I could send people on like spy missions or something. Like, for example, I really wanted somebody, like, there's a lot of beautiful places I've been to in the world. One of them is in Germany, and I lived there for a while. And I thought that it would be really cool. I don't want to fly all the way there and go back and visit all those places. I mean, eventually I will, but sometimes if I'm bored and I'm just feeling kind of nostalgic, I thought it'd be nice to just pay someone to like do a live stream there and then send it to me, like in the place that I wanted, and I could control it. Or you could send people to like spy on some person or attend an event, and this was before Meerkat or Periscope. And now that these came out, these platforms came out, I feel like it makes it even easier to do this because everybody's armed with the tool now. So that's kind of where the idea came from. But I realize it can be applied to so many different things. It could be you just want to watch somebody who you like interview somebody, or maybe it's a movie star, or you know, just some influencer that you like, or somebody from your Twitter that you want to see do a certain topic. Like on Twitter, for example, you guys know who James Altucher is?
I don't.
He's a pretty popular like VC guy. But I went on Twitter and I said, dude, it'd be really cool if you had your own Periscope stream. And he didn't listen at first, but like maybe 2 months later, now he does have his own Periscope stream, and it's really popular now. So that's like an example of me actually wanting to control a live stream. I wanted a guy to stream about startups because I hate reading articles and I hate, you know, watching recorded videos. It's so boring. Like I would just like to watch.
Okay. So
it's controlling the content, I guess.
Yeah.
Voyeurism. A lot of that too. You know, and the one thing we will perhaps have to watch out for, it could really be a driver. It's obviously been a huge driver of the internet from the get-go, and that's porn. You know, there could be some,
and so I think that we just curate it. We don't, like, if somebody posts that they want something, if it's porn, we just don't allow it to get on the site. So it has to be approved.
Well, if there is a demand, you can always do the rating like PG, RX for the content. And I mean, if any of that stuff is profitable, I mean, if anyone has moral objections, we don't have to do it. But basically, you have to discover what your audience wants and provide it to them. So we will have to do a lot of feedback and seeing how people use it, and then learn from that and focus on things that work.
All right. Well, where are we at with this?
Okay, so who is going to be... I want to really look at like who is going to be our first consumer, like, and who is going to be our general segment of consumers.
I feel comfortable letting other people get in on this. I don't know. Is it important that I answer all these questions?
Since it's your vision, I kind of want to get your vision. But yeah, if anyone has any feedback, please chime in and make sure that we get the best.
For this one, anybody have an idea of who are interested? Okay, so Jess said 16 to 28.
One thing that may be an interesting one, considering that we are heading in about a year and a half into elections, a lot of the candidates are going to be going to various places and talking and whatnot. I'm sure there will be a lot of people willing to pay money to see what their favorite or unfavorite candidate has to say that day.
Yeah, I like that idea. And actually, we have some political connections too. I have some people that do some fundraising for the super PACs, and they worked for like Hillary's campaign and stuff. We could ask them if they would be interested in paying for that. A lot of these campaign people who are running these PACs are really tight with money though, so they'll tell you pretty straight up.
Well, the idea is that they don't have to spend any money. They just get extra audience to their events from people who are interested but can't attend. So,
Correct. Or some candidates may potentially get some extra money. Like, you just say, okay, pay $1 to watch your candidate today in real life time.
I thought I did.
So that way we can piggyback on a huge event that is actually happening.
okay, and now it's fairly easy to find people who will stream. How will you find people who want to attend the political rallies or whatever other virtual events?
Twitter? People that are following those folks on Twitter?
Well, the problem with that really is if they're already following and they already have that communication, they don't really need us because they can already ask people that they're following. We kind of come in between and be like, okay, we want to find all the people who aren't following because they have no idea how powerful the platform is, and we want to easily provide them with the way to get to the Periscope or Miriscope, whatever. Meerkat. So one of the challenges is actually getting to people who will pay, and that's why you want to explore a couple of those channels and see which one works the best. So I would say Reddit for political rallies. I know Bernie has a lot of following on Reddit, so you can probably test with them and be like, okay, we're testing some of the live attendance stuff. What else do you think would be a good channel for reaching people?
I want to get some other people to weigh in on it. I'm going to go on mute for a second. I'm trying to invite Evgeny to the...
Okay. Yeah, anyone else who has ideas on how to get people to pay for virtual travel, virtual events, any of that stuff, how to get to people who will pay for it, please chime in and tell me how would you get to those people.
Some larger conferences or conventions. So Comic-Con or some of the larger, whatever, technical or medical conferences where somebody wants to attend a particular talk or go view a booth, but they don't have the time.
So, yeah, with that, I can actually see that, like, I would love to go to RailsConf or ReactConf, but it's in other city and I don't have time for it. But I would probably pay for like 10% of the ticket if the event organizers could provide live stream for me. So there is a huge channel for actually talking to the organizers of those conferences and make sure they sell more tickets.
I think we need to make sure this one makes it in. I like this one.
So let's do conference organizers. And those kind of will work with the streamers to make sure that there is supply of the streams and extra customers. But that really changes the revenue model because instead of charging $1, you can charge $100.
And also, if it's about sports, for example, even if you are watching the game, sometimes, I mean, talking about Europe and soccer, I would be willing to pay someone to, stream from the, how do you call it?
From the event.
Yeah, the spectators area there.
Oh yeah, like I can see like being able to attend like World Cup or any of those big things and like
Yeah,
not depend on the TV streams for that, and
yeah, you could have multiple streams watching the game instead of just one.
All right, that's a good one.
Guys.
Yes.
Well, actually, every stadium now, every match, every football game has a lot of streamers that use Periscope. So the only thing I see right now is something like avatar functions. Kurt told us about, so something unique, because I guess Sean said that he's been watching a boxing match between Pacquiao against somebody, and he had we had a lot of streamers from the first rows of the match. So what's the point? It's totally free.
Yeah.
It was totally free, and every event, every movie star, every venture capitalist, whatever, they have a lot of. We have a lot of people for free. So why should we pay if we don't have something unique, something? I don't know. If you want, Kurt, if you want to see, for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger's house in Graz, so you will have to find a person there who will agree. So it's, I don't know if it's going to be a match, because you can try to open Periscope map and you will see maybe 100 of points on a map. So what are the chances that you will find a match in Graz, Austria, to see Arnold's house, for example?
Okay, so I can see it for like a small specialty sport events, like if you wanna attend like a soccer game with Liverpool or something, and you're in the States, and you know that it's not gonna be covered by any big media, you can like have a small request for a small event.
And I think that it's a good place to start where we're at, but this is something that could easily be, it could be possible that we realize that people just really love to see when things are coming up and want to see the content organized in a certain way. I'm not really sure about that, but Evgeny, to your point about there's events that a lot of people are streaming, I think that that's true, and so we would just we wouldn't really care about those events, you know. The person could probably still make money from it, because I guarantee that even though, yeah, a lot of people could see free recordings of like a Pacquiao fight, I would probably still pay for it, because I don't know if it's going to be reliable, and I try to look up certain things. Like I was looking up Comic-Con, for example. Like, yeah, a lot of people film there, but they'll turn their camera on for like 30 seconds and then leave, and then they didn't go to any of the places that I wanted to see there. They weren't at the time that I wanted to see it. Like, I want to see Game of Thrones people get interviewed, and like I would be really pissed off if I can't watch that. So to me, I think what we do is we allow them to pay, and it makes it more reliable. Like, I don't want to pay for a Comic-Con ticket, but I do want to watch the Game of Thrones cast be interviewed, and that's at a specific time, and it has to be reliable, you know. So, and I'm willing to pay for that, and a lot, because I'm saving a lot of money on my ticket.
Yeah, okay. I'm not saying it's totally senseless. I'm just saying that we have to find some exclusive niche, and somehow we have to guarantee that the people who will pay, that they will receive the service they wanted. So
absolutely, and that's what I think is probably the harder part too. Is
I don't know. Maybe a cool part of this is we can make an MVP. I don't think we should make it free. So what's the point about it? So I guess Meerkat, they have open API, so maybe the fastest way, the easiest way will be to use the API and to connect some kind of paying system and the search system. the quickest way to test the model, probably. I don't know. Because if you will make one more streaming service and the MVP will be free, the beta version will be free, nobody will notice because they already have two sources. And if you will use Twitter as the first source of traffic, they will block you. Like they block Meerkat.
Yeah, so eventually,
I didn't really catch that point. I'm sorry. Wait, who's gonna block us? I didn't understand that.
Twitter. I guess they blocked Meerkat for this, for the same reason, because they didn't want to give the audience.
So Twitter didn't block Meerkat. They blocked their parts of their API. Like you could still essentially log in with Meerkat, as far as I understand. They just blocked. From what I understand, is that they blocked their social features of their API, so that when I log into Meerkat, I can't automatically follow or find any of the people through the API, but I could use it to authenticate. And I think that we are planning to use Twitter, so I think that we could use some of those features, but in theory, it shouldn't matter if Twitter wants to block their social API.
yeah, we are not actually going to be providing any of the streaming ourselves. We're just basically going to be Craigslist for the events, for live video events. So initially we'll just list what events are going to happen and let people attend those, and also maybe create requests for what people want to see and see what demand we can fill on each side.
Anybody ever heard the plans of Twitter of monetizing Periscope, for example? Maybe they do have such a plans to make it paid for some exclusive content. Anybody has any?
Ilya brought that up yesterday. I'm not aware of any plans. It probably wouldn't matter to me if they did. But maybe it's important. I just, in my mind, I don't really care. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know if it would. If you're planning to do it on any kind of video platform, like this could be done on Twitch very easily too.
Yeah, we don't depend on the platform as much as on making sure that we connect to marketplaces of consumers and the streamers. And if someone wants to request it on Periscope or Meerkat or Twitch or whatever, that's we can be flexible enough to support any platform.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, or any questions or anything?
I mean, Evgeny, do you what would you think would be the niche that you would see is unique and most appealing?
Well, I like your idea about some exclusive footage of places, of events. I just don't really know, at least for now, how to formulate it for people. You know, you have to show them. You know, on your main page, you have to show them what they will get. You have to bring a few ideas first, then other people will follow. They will bring you their own ideas.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Like for me to contribute, like I go on live coding TV, and even though live coding TV is a pretty small, application right now, I think that like what I actually do on live coding TV when I stream, I offer tutorials, and I like do that to like following, and I do that for fun and stuff. So I think that eventually, like even like for like programmers and stuff, they could go on like live coding TV, and they can go on this platform that we're making, and then they can advertise themselves that, oh, I will develop X, Y, Z, and we'll raise so much money until we reach that, and then I'll do it. So
That's a
yeah,
really
I think
cool
that's
idea. I hope that we record this one down because live coding and watching coders could be a really good idea.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. So that's like something I would personally use the platform myself in order to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, and that would be like not very likely that Periscope or it's not like a Pacquiao fight like when I write some code. So someone that no one's going to be covering something like that.
What about this one for college students? If I'm about to miss a class, may be able to ping some of my classmates who stream the class for me, and I'll pay them.
Nobody's gonna go in this case. You will have one girl with glasses on the first row with this iPhone.
Hey!
Well, maybe that's how it should be done.
Where is everybody? Nobody's gonna come. Everyone's watching on the.
So that's a good thing for us.
Yeah, basically, because that's what we want to do. So that's one of the other customer segments that might be interesting.
It's kind of funny. It looks like a joke when professor asked the student, boy, I haven't seen you for a while. Probably you haven't attended any of my classes. Why should I give you, I don't know how you call it, guys.
Good grade, passing grade.
Yeah. I don't think that I have a right to pass you to the exams. So, well, professor, I attended all of your classes. I would just we're sitting behind the column over there. Okay, then, and then the professor thinks, well, how can 100 people get behind this tiny column over here? The same situation over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one might be a little bit harder. Just imagine, because now you'd have to connect with one of your classmates to make sure they're aware of the platform. Maybe it would be. Maybe in this situation, you're this nerdy girl in the glasses. Just use the example, and you could send out a link to your classmates saying, "Hey, look, if you just give me some money, I'll film this thing."
Well, so think about it this way. In college, there is quite a lot of people with plenty of free time and a bunch of people that want stuff done. So I don't even have to be a member of that class.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
I have 5 or 10 people in a giant class, if I have 5 or 10 people willing to pay me, I'm going to go and sit there because potentially I can make a lot of money by just chilling on the front row doing nothing. So this can be small business model for students by themselves.
Yeah, it's really funny. I like this idea.
and guys, like, I have a little bit. Jessica's comment. I'm a girl in glasses. That's funny. So there's actually I have a little bit of experience in this, and I'll tell you that it's really easy to find people who are willing to film this stuff for money. The challenge truly is for finding the people who are willing to pay for it in the right way. I've been through this before a little bit. So just think about it. Right now, we'll have a really easy time. I guarantee that we could go out and find 1,000 people who are willing to film random live streams for cash. That's not going to be hard at all. It's finding the people that are going to be willing to pay for it and finding their unique needs that I think is where the real challenge is.
All right, so that's going to be what we need to focus on, is finding events that will bring us between $100 and $1,000 per event.
Well, start asking yourself, where are there events where you have lots of people congregating to view it like a public event, or there is a lot of interest and it's followed in the media later? So sure, you can
I had
easily.
an example yesterday, and so sometimes conferences might not be the best thing because sometimes the conference owners tell you that you can't film. But in cases where you can, yesterday there was a big Bitcoin conference in downtown LA, and I would have had to drive across the 10 freeway, which may have taken an hour, and I wasn't interested in most of the speakers, truly. I just wanted to see maybe one, and it's like a $500 ticket. And granted, like somebody gave me a VIP ticket. Just imagine if I had to pay for that, and then I would be willing to pay $5 to watch that one person stream, and because you have like FOMO, you know, like I want to go to the event, and if I can't go, I feel like I'm really missing out. But if I could just get a stream, it would solve that.
So here is the other thing, Kurt, though. It may, in order to recruit event organizers, you may want to propose to them that this could be the platform that they themselves use to collect money for each individual talk.
And what you tell them is basically, hey, look, someone is going to record it anyway, might as well do it official, give them a really good seat, and get a cut of the people that now, instead of selling only 100 tickets, you can sell 1,000 tickets and still, even at discounted rate, it's a good deal to them.
Exactly. So that way, if they charge per talk, like, you know, like I don't mind paying $5 or $10 a talk, but if there is 10,000 people watching it, all of a sudden that talk became a big money maker for the organizer.
Hey, you guys just gave me a really good idea too, in a way to shield it. Like somebody might say, well, I don't care, Periscope is free, so if that guy goes and films that conference, I'll just watch it for free and not pay. But the beauty of this is if you paid, only then will we reveal to those people who's filming the live stream. You see what I mean? So you won't know who's going to do it unless you paid.
Exactly. So again, you're giving a platform to the people who need more users or more viewers, whether it is the event promoters or the politicians or movie stars or whoever it is. You're giving them a platform to bring in the money, $1 or $2 or $3 at a time.
Yeah, and a lot of those won't even care about money as much as about audience. So you just tell them, hey, do you want 100,000 people to attend your rally that only has space for 10,000 people? We can do it for you.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think this is a good start for the business model. It covers basically why it exists and kind of what we want to work on building. And so now we should probably go over any questions about like what's not clear and like does anyone has pretty good vision of what we are trying to build.
Well, I think everything's pretty clear at this point, and I think that actually, you know, the entire thing about focusing on, you know, never missing an event, I think that's like something that's really huge, and I think that will drive a lot of people to use it. So no, I'm pretty happy with what we have so far.
Okay, awesome. So let me talk about unfair advantage real quick and why I left it blank. So usually you don't just build your business canvas and leave it. As you validate and invalidate, you take some of those off and you change some of those, and you slowly grow and you start to develop your unfair advantage by building your network and doing all those things, finding some exclusive deals, etc. So right now we don't have unfair advantage, but as the canvas develops, you will eventually have things to put in there that other people won't be able to copy, and that's basically going to be your users and like how you interact with them.
Our unfair advantage is that we're badass and nobody else.
Yeah, well, everyone's unfair advantage is that when they begin, honestly. All right. Well,
that was great.
One thing about, I mean, I'm not sure if we should also think about the other way. If you know, consumers should be able to request something. For example, I want, I mean, somehow collect requests for a certain event, but I'm not seeing it on the, instead of, you know, streamers publishing.
Yeah, I put it under solution, and we haven't talked about it much because the solution, honestly, is going to evolve out of our initial interaction and conversations with people. But yeah, it's definitely part of the experiences, asking exactly what you want to see and how you want to see it, and then streamers will be obliged to fulfill that to get paid.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it should have two options: offers and requests. So you can offer something, you can request for something. If you're going to stream, you put it on offers. If you have a request,
Okay, so let me jump out of the business model real quick and into the
well, I got a
strategy
book with the
proposal.
model you provided. The book about the models you're showing us.
So what we want to do is we want to figure out first thing we want to accomplish with this, and I think as a rule of thumb, I usually recommend people to validate the concept, meaning without building a site, can you find one event that people will pay for? So you can have just collect $1 from 10 people and have someone record it for them. And just from that interaction, you will learn a ton of stuff for the site and like all things that you didn't think about. And usually it shouldn't take that long, so I'd say by the end of August we should be able to find someone. Because if you can't find one event by the end of August, there is no way you can find hundreds or thousands of events by because you need to work on your channels and all those things to make sure you're finding demand, basically. Does everyone kind of agree with the initial goal of doing it by hand, like reach out? So you can reach out to students and see if there is possibility of recording lecture. You can check out any conference that are coming up and see if there is like something that might work with the conference. And basically you can reach out to political rallies and see. So our initial goal is to figure out what's the best early adopter is, and you do it by talking to a lot of people. So our first goal is to talk to a lot of people and make sure we can collect money before we start building anything.
Perfect. I agree with that. I think that me and Ilya were talking about that yesterday, that we could actually make a lot of progress validating the customer segments, like figuring out, we could reach out to somebody and be like, hey, would you pay for this? I mean, we don't even have to write a line of code to validate that.
Yeah, use top chart to make a list of events or whatever. Be creative, basically. You save a lot of time and money by being creative.
I think that this is where like people who want to do marketing and biz dev for this idea can really step up and make a plan on how to validate where this market is. For example, if we have 5 different channels and 5 different customer segments, we could very quickly, like maybe in a week's time, validate which ones actually work for people. Like, do we want to find people who are willing to pay for conferences, or what kind of custom content are people willing to pay for, and then talk to them and figure it out. I mean, maybe we send out a survey. What would you be willing to pay for? And we have 5 different, topics that they might pay for. Custom coding, videos, conferences, AMAs, or whatever, and just see what we come up with.
Nice.
Привет, давай перезвоним тебе чуть позже, занят. Ну, через минут 20 перезвоним.
That's what I was going to say.
No problem. Почти закончили.
Yes, almost done.
Okay, so I think this was good, and we can reconnect in the Miriscope channel, and I think people can start going out and starting these conversations about like what kind of events you want to attend that but can't because you're physically restricted, and on the other side, it should be easy to find people who will film those events as long as you have the demand. And
I think that there's one thing that's really missing, and I don't know if anybody else agrees, is that nobody really knows what anyone's going to do. So I think that eventually we got to have a discussion like that, like what are our like short-term goals and what is anybody going to do?
yeah, and let me jump
I thought that we're
back.
gonna have a follow-up call later today, possibly to actually start divvying up tasks. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can we can create. So our strategy is to find one, create one live event without creating a website, basically, and then our experiments will be basically going to talk to this person and see, or like talk to 10 people who were possibly interested in this event.
Also, guys, I think we're being kind of optimistic, and maybe Jessica can back me on this. It's like we have everybody together right now. It's not like everyone's going to be able to hop on a call again in like 3 hours. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody's willing to, I mean, I am, but I mean, people are in different time zones. There's a lot of different issues, so.
Yeah.
I got work to do, so I got to kind of limit the time, but so like obviously I need to focus on my other obligations and stuff. So yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, and here you can keep track of tasks pretty well in Trello. Like everyone can kind of create tasks that they're working on, and we can talk about. But personally, I'm gonna talk to a person that does a lot of live casting and get their feedback and kind of put that down and like what I learned from them, and yeah, just reach out maybe to a couple conference organizers and get their feedback on that. But I'll start documenting everything in Trello that I'm doing, and I think if everyone does that, you'll be easily able to see who is doing what, and then we can. I recommend doing about weekly meetups on like who is doing what's been accomplished, and what needs to be done.
I'd even go a level higher than that, Timo. Like, I think that we need to be clear on what our goals are, and that, because like I can go and talk with my Meerkat friends, but I mean maybe that's not a useful thing for me to do. So I think that if everybody kind of agrees on what would be like the main goal to focus on, it'll be easier to assign tasks to people or to yourselves, anyways. Because I mean, if I'm not really clear on what the like real specific goal is, then I don't know how anybody else really can be.
Sure. Our first goal should be to figure out what event we can get people to pay for to stream.
Well, what are you basing that on? Like, are we voting on this, or are you just deciding, Timo?
I just decided it, but if you think there should be some other goal, like basically the 10x roll, I'm using 10x rollout strategies, saying that you do one of something, then you get to 10, then you get to 100, then 1,000, etc. And
all right. Well, is anybody else using that, or just you using that?
Just me, but yeah, if someone thinks that they like, what do you think needs to be accomplished? Like, I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing what everybody else has to think about it. Like, because I think that if we're all unified around one goal, everyone's gonna feel very, they're gonna have a lot of direction.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the problem with me is that I'm really gung ho about like building stuff. So like, kind of like what I want to do is just like build it and then validate it. Like, I think that I personally think it's right for us to validate it first. And yeah, I think at this current stage, we don't necessarily have. I mean, talking to people is one thing, but like, I guess like what Teamer said, and actually getting someone to like pay for an event, and like finding someone who will actually host an event on like Meerkatter's Periscope, for example. So yeah.
So I agree with Chris. So I feel that we have quite a few people, and some may have more exposure to talking to event organizers and have those connection and capabilities. Other ones, like folks in Europe or somewhere else, may not necessarily have that ability. So having them sit around twirl their thumbs may not be most efficient spending time at the moment. So maybe we can, some of the developers can start talking about what tools are going to be used and start setting those things up. And then other folks may start creating something like a quick landing page. And then other folks may start talking to event organizers and see who our primary customer may happen to be. So that way, we do not have a group of people just sitting around waiting while somebody else is trying to accomplish something else. Does that make sense?
It does.
Absolutely.
The only minor problem with that is if you decide to change any things from what you learned from the conversations, you will have wasted a lot of development work on like anything you've done, because then you have to do a lot of changes, and initially when you're just discovering stuff, you usually find that you have to change a lot of things.
Certainly.
I think that we're not talking about actually building the product like today, though. I think that that the developers can focus on, like, for example, if I go to talk to a conference owner, if I had a simple landing page that they can sign up or that even shows our value proposition, that would be very helpful to like legitimize it. Like,
sure.
For example, let's just walk through. Like, I find a person who's running a conference, and I'm saying, hey, we have people who will go and film this on a live stream, and there's an audience, and there's some money to be made off of it. So they might want to see a site or sign up, or we might hit people up in social media or something to try to find these customers, and we need to lead them to something. So, I mean, maybe you could validate the idea without any kind of landing page. That's fine, but I think to start thinking about what's the most simple way to validate it. And yeah, these events are fine, but to Ilya's point, there's a lot that we can do. And I mean, it may only take like one or two people to really validate this idea of events. So maybe we separate people out to do validating something other than an event, like maybe some other kind of content, like coding content.
So the other thing I was going to say is, Timo, to your point that you don't want us to develop a bunch of stuff and then only to find out that that's not necessary. Again, we can do all of this agile style well, where every week or two we get together and we decide, okay, is this the right direction we're going to? If unnecessary development has happened, we only have lost 1 week or a few days, 1 or 2 weeks worth of development time. Additionally, up front in the beginning, I propose some of the developers can already start setting up some of the groundwork, like user account creation, integration with Twitter, like simple things like this.
Sure, yeah.
No matter which direction we go, those are going to be needed either way. So they don't have to start from scratch once we actually decide in which direction to take it.
Sure, and well, the thing about it is I can set up basically user accounts and Twitter integration in about a couple of hours, so it's not the bottleneck on my end. So definitely we can build some landing page, initial graphics, and mailing list, and some tools to help us actually get to the first event. But don't just focus on building things and then going out and talking. We have to do it other way around to get the maximum out of the.
Certainly.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we have to manage the process somehow, and we have to split the team. Some people will do the development work, the promotional, the design, the landing pages. Otherwise, we won't make it, guys.
Yeah, and then I think that there's people like maybe Jessica, maybe she doesn't know what she's gonna do. So I think that we need to figure out what everybody can do and contribute like right away. I mean, so.
Well, actually, yeah. I'm more the product manager, the team manager. So I'm not a coder, not a developer. Yeah, I make some design tweaks for my sites, and I don't know how I can help you guys. Anyway, I talked with Sean about his project, the Fedora, and I can build the whole project. But here I don't see any technical problems. It's mostly the problem of the paying system we have to choose and to work with. I don't know, so we have to discuss it. Who's got capabilities of development, who's got capabilities of design, management, and what else? The legal part, but it's the late stage, not now.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we have Kurt, who's the creator of this idea, so he has to find a way to manage us somehow.
Yeah, I didn't know if I'm going to be managing or not. I thought that maybe we would have people who are actual project. I mean, I'm a project manager technically, but I didn't know if somebody else wanted to do that. Like, Ilya is very talented in this, for example, and so maybe it's something where I'm focusing on the business more so than managing people, you know. I don't have all those details worked out. I thought that that's the whole point. They were all going to come together, figure out what somebody wants to do, and then, you know, or some skill that you want to improve, and then you can focus on that. So, you know, obviously it would be pretty good to focus on what skills people are strong in because they want to be strong and you know, bring a lot of value, but I don't really know what all those things are, so I don't know if we need to have a separate meeting later to figure out what everybody does or what they feel like they can bring to the table for the idea, or if we do it now or what.
So maybe rather than wasting everybody's time, maybe myself, Jessica, and Evgeny, as project manager, we can touch bases offline. We can divvy up a couple of tasks and then identify who are the various people that are willing to work and able to work on various parts of the project. So that way, we're not going to have a big mess of everybody just chiming in. So we can individually reach to each individual person, figure out what their capabilities are, as well as what they want to work on. Because, you know, just because I can do something doesn't mean I want to do it, right? So and then be able to divvy up the tasks in that manner, so that it is a little bit clearer, and again, we don't have like a big mishmash of everybody just talking about whatever their little part is, even though they may not be necessarily related to each other.
Well, yeah, we're trying to make the project, I know, from inside out, because we have a lot of people, and we're thinking what we can do together. If I have an idea, I think that okay, I need 2 developers, 1 backend developer, a web designer, something like this, and I choose from the people that are asking me to join the team. So we're trying to make something different. It's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So excellent. So you guys want to figure out some time that we can get together and start possibly dividing the responsibilities. Again, I'm sure we're going to have some something in terms of landing page, as well as some social media. We may have something as far as development, and I'm sure development will be divided in a couple of different teams, as well as some of the business side of stuff. So
yeah, maybe we think about it, and then you know, come back. Like, maybe we give it like 2 days to think about it, and
yeah, a couple days would be good.
And then our next meeting could be like, all right, well, what do we think we should do, and then how do we split it up?
Mm-hmm. And I think eventually it's going to be that we need to figure out what needs to be done in the next week, put all those tasks up on Trello board, and let people claim those tasks and accomplish them.
Yeah, that sounds good. It's good to figure out what our goals are first, because I think that when people decide what they're going to do themselves with and not with the group involved in what our real goal is, it can be just people doing random stuff that might not bring much value, you know?
Right.
All right, well, maybe we just confirm a time on Slack later, like after a few days. maybe 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, let the product guys talk together and see what they see as a vision of like how it needs to go, and then we can all reconnect and see who will be able to fill what position.
Guys, do you have any other people involved except us?
I think there may be a couple more people that were not able to get in.
I just want to calculate the developers, and do we have enough? I think we do.
We do have enough developers for sure. We're developer heavy.
So, yeah, we're choosing iOS, right?
Oh, we are just doing web initially.
Only web?
Yeah, because it's going to be like a marketplace, so it's easy to show a lot of information.
No, how do you want to stream?
Oh, people will just use Meerkat or Periscope to stream. We are not going to be involved in that.
Okay. I would have to leave it to technicians because I don't know the details. How are you going to do it? Is it possible even?
Yeah, I think that we might have to eventually figure that out. Once we decide to build the platform, we can go over all the details. But I think for now, it's like, let's just try to find some streamers some money. I mean, it seems like that'll be pretty much the first goal. And if we can find them money, then it'll justify a platform.
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. So, Tima, do you think you may be able to share some of these slides with the group somewhere
yeah,
where we can...
I'll invite everyone to the product, to the lean stack through the email, and they'll be able to go into the actual product. Or I'll also export the PDF slide and share that as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, if you don't have anything else, then I'll see you on Slack.
Right on.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
All right, later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, buddy. What do you think? Are you still there? Oh, because you... Okay. Maybe because you hosted it, or you silenced. That was a little long. Peace.